Welcome to another episode of America by Motorcycle. I'm Ken Herforth, and today we're going to talk about my new purchase, my 2016 Chief Dark Horse. This is it. I got it at the Head Motorcycle Company in Columbia, Missouri. I've been looking for a while for this particular motorcycle, and I picked it up because in 2016 I bought me the Scout 60. But this was really the bike I wanted, but I was not in a position at life for many different reasons to actually get this bike yet. So I've been looking, and when I found the opportunity, I jumped on it. Actually, about 2 weeks prior to that, there was Chief Dark Horse in Overland Park, Olathe, Kansas, at the Indian Motorcycle Place there. And I tried to contact him the next day. I saw it that evening, and it was already gone. It had only been on the floor about 24 hours. So this is the new bike. So I'm going to discuss it. I've had it for a month now, the pros and cons, and about the buying experience. In many ways, it's quite comical and a great learning experience. So when I saw it on the website, because I've been searching all up and down Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, places where it'd be easy to get to, as well as Fort Worth and Indian in Fort Worth, Texas, because I've purchased 3 Indians from them and they've just treated me so well. Well, when I saw the bike on the website, it only had the stock photo. So I contacted them and asked if they could send pictures. I was looking for this particular bike, the price seemed right. Only had a little over 13,000 miles on it. And the sales associate there, who was terrific throughout the whole time, said, well, they didn't have it because they were actually working on the bike. They had to put in new lifters. So that, of course, that makes me pause a little bit. So I put $500 down on it, so that way I could hold it until it was ready for me to test ride it and see it for myself. And at that time, they had it in the garage, and it took them about 3-4 weeks after I did that for them to finally have it completed, where Colton called me and said, come on down and take a test ride. Going back and forth on the price, and I got a really great deal, I don't want to say. But when I got there, there were some issues I had right when I saw it. One is that you'll notice one mirror is missing because it didn't have stock mirrors. The owner before that, and I believe if you own your motorcycle, you should be able to do what you want with it. But we'll just say there's a very different value system between me and the previous owner. See, the previous owner had Germany Iron Cross mirrors. Now, doesn't have to be, but that generally is recognized as a Nazi symbol. And, well, I didn't really want that on my motorcycle. And while my last name may be German, I'm born and bred in the United States, and I'm also retired Air Force. And you may recall, and just to make a mistake that someone didn't think, oh, that's a cool cross, there was another problem with it. And that was the tank strip. He had what is often known as the Baphomet symbol. It is the male body with the goat face and the goat horns, which is often known as a satanic or anarchist type symbol. And I didn't want that on the bike. It was homemade, and he had it for his tank strip. So I asked the sales associate, hey, can we do this? Can you go find a stock tank strip and maybe some stock mirrors and change them out for me? Well, he couldn't find them. So that became a problem. They didn't have them in stock. So the way the whole deal kind of worked out, and I was making jokes about it and kind of going back and forth, is that I had to purchase these new mirrors and a new tank strip. The new mirrors and tank strip totaled a little over $600. It's a lot of money for that. But I thought, okay, it's worth it. Make the bike the way I want. I got a great deal on the bike, so I'm kind of coming out ahead. That's how I looked at it. And I've got saddlebags and a highway bar and some other things added, and so I'm okay. But then this is what happened. So I get right on the highway, and the mirrors, I thought, well, I'll leave. They're just horrible. Even as a statement, I think they don't look very good, but they're not even good for riding. So I took them off. Well, this Chief is an international screw in there. So either while he was putting in these mirrors or while I was taking them out, could have been either way. This one I did first, and it stripped. I was at a Lowe's, and it stripped coming out. So I was real careful with the other one. So when I got the mirrors, I was able to get this one in, but this one I'm not being able to get in. So this is what I'm going to have to do. To fix this problem, I'm going to have to find somebody who can tap it and heat coil it. And I think I found somebody who said he thinks he can do the job. He's in Sedalia, Independent Cycles. But if that doesn't work, then this is going to have to be completely replaced, which also means the brake line is going to have to be serviced. This goes for about $542. When it's all said and done, I'm looking at about $900 just to get that mirror in there. So right now I'm improvising until I want to pay that. I'm fortunate I can, but my wife is on vacation and we've already registered and paid for the bike. And actually, we forget, motorcycles first didn't have mirrors at all. And then when they did, many motorcycles only had one mirror. And they had them on the side that you would pass. So in the United States, you'd have it on your left-hand side. In Britain, believe it or not, you would have it on the right-hand side because you would pass on that side. Anyways, it's actually quite safe because when I do decide to go into the right lane, I look here to make sure that the vehicle is in sight, which actually means since I'm looking crossways, and when I see that vehicle behind me, I actually have more distance between me and that vehicle than if I was looking in this mirror. However, I have found myself looking here first, going like, oh, it's not there, let's have it, and then looking over here, and then taking a quick peek over my shoulder before I go. So that was how I've adjusted to that, and I'll get that taken care of. I just need the time to go take it in, see if the guy can tap it, and then if he can't, take it into Indian and get that replaced. And I had the tank strip with the Baphomet symbol. Wasn't happy with it, but I'm not superstitious. Doesn't mean I don't want the bike. Matter of fact, I was making jokes to the sales associate there. I'm like, I'm going to baptize and Christianize this bike. So I was having fun with it, but it was disappointing. However, to get highway bars, saddlebags, and I'm going to talk about the things that, well, I didn't like the guy's accessories to the bike. He did make some wise choices. One of those wise choices is the seat. This is not a stock Indian Chief seat. So it's really, really comfortable. So is the back seat or the pillion. Very, very comfortable. Really makes it a nice ride. And the pipes aren't stock. They are aftermarket. And it has 3 sounds to it. You push a button and you get 3 sounds. Right here, if you push this once, you get a stronger sound. And if you push it again, you get a much stronger sound. Push a 3rd time, it goes back to stock. I've never been one who's had really aftermarket stocks. Triumph, you don't need it. I've never really had aftermarket shots on the Triumph. You don't really need it. On my Thunderbird and on the Indians, just having loud exhaust is, well, it's kind of cool when I hear it, but just never really wanted to pay that kind of money for it. But I must admit, it's a nice feature. And it starts on right away when you first start it for about maybe 3 to 5 seconds, and then it goes to stock. And then if I want to, I can increase that sound up 2 more levels. And so it's a nice, good, strong, throaty sound. It's kind of fun. He also had the upgraded headlamps. So this is an upgraded headlamp. It's not stock, and it's nice. I've been on it at night just to test it, and it's nice. So those are the positives and negatives of getting this bike from the previous owner. Now let's talk about the riding experience. So let me talk about the good things about this bike. It is, out of my 4 Indians and any bike I've ever owned, it is the best bike I've owned, bar none. And it's surprising because it's the same engine, supposedly, as my 2018. It's the 111 Thunderstroke. Between 65 and 85 miles an hour, it just hums. It's what I like to call that sweet spot. It's that spot where every bike seems to have its best. This bike, it's, believe it or not, 40 to 45 miles an hour. It's at its best. And I have to say, 65 to 80. It's by far better than any bike I've had from 65 to 80. The vibration is very, very little, and so it really works well. As I bought it, it came with the Mini Apes. I've never had Mini Apes before. I decided, well, let me give them a try. I was thinking initially I'm just going to lower them probably 4 inches, maybe to 43 inches from the ground. And so far, actually, I kind of like it. I can kind of lean into it. My shoulders are not getting tired from it, and I've had 2 surgeries on my shoulders. So I've been very surprised, and I think it handles well, better than my 2018. I would say it handles maybe on long, windy roads, as well as my 2021. Of course, it had forward control type bars. While they weren't mini apes, it was more forward. And this really allows me to handle that pretty well. So its sweet spot is 65 to 80, I think. It's like perfect. It really is just perfect. And 40 to 45 miles an hour. It's got a nice sweet spot there. A lot of bikes, it's that 40, 45 is that transition period in gears that just feels clunky to me. And a lot of roads you go are at 40 or 45, and this one is just really comfortable. So they did that just right. Of course, I now have the detachable windshield. That's a nice addition. It is chrome highway bars, but I'll take what I can get. I do like that I have highway bars again. That's always a nice addition, especially if you happen to tip the bike. It's close to an 800-pound bike, so it's nice to have that. So far, I'm very pleased, but the negatives I'm having to work through. So hopefully I'll get this fixed soon. It's a great ride, and I'll keep you updated on my adventures on this new 2016 Chief Dark Horse. Thank you, and have a spectacular day.